All right. Anthony Dallmann-Jones here. This is for you that are reading the book Shadow Children. I'm your professor. I know it's hard to believe. How can such a young guy? All right. Anyway, there's a concept in there called process addiction to abuse. I must tell you where that comes from. In my work as a psychotherapist, you learn a lot sitting knee to knee, eyeball to eyeball with people every week, uninterrupted for an hour at a time. I know I learned a lot. I hope they did too. 28 clients a week. As I say, week after week, month after month, you begin to see things, hear things that make you wonder. A lot of my clients were addicts. I also worked in the prisons. I worked with alcoholics, drug addicts, crack addicts, sex addicts, pretty much work addicts, religious addicts, pretty much anything you can mention. What I found out underneath every addict is a screaming codependent. And codependents normally have what I call a hole in their chest. Terry Kellogg, one of your authors, said that he tried to fill a hole in his chest with banana cream pie. But so he had a food addiction. But most people try to fill it with people, living through other people, living for other people. And sometimes it's called love or affection, but it's actually an addiction. And I think you've met people and you know the difference. Where does that come from? I have a theory. It's in the book. I don't know if anybody else has ever advanced this or not, so take it for what it's worth. But my theory is that underneath that addiction to alcohol or cigarettes or work or religion or food is codependency. Codependency is that need to live through something else. So you can, it's normally thought of as a romance addiction. You know, somebody's always addicted to falling in love. But that's a narrow definition of codependency. Codependency is basically looking elsewhere for meaning, joy, purpose, excitement, enthusiasm, safety, security, looking elsewhere. That's probably the shortest definition I know, looking elsewhere. I know it's rather general, rather ambiguous, but it says it well. So that's painful because, as Ernie Larson once said, if you are raised up to think you are not your own source of sunshine, and yet we need sunshine to live, wherever you get your sunshine, you're going to be desperate to control it, to hang on to it. That's painful. You never know when you're going to be let down. If it's drugs, you'll be short your supply. If it's alcohol, oh my God, there's a blizzard, I can't get any beer. If it's cigarettes, I have no money to buy any. If it's another person, what if they leave me? You've always got this scratching on the chalkboard of your mind, reminding you that at any moment you could be abandoned, left, separated from that thing you see as your source of sunshine. Underneath that is what I propose is a process addiction to abuse. There are two kinds of addictions. There's substance and there's processes. Gambling is a process. Eating is a substance. Eating is also a process. It can be either one. Some people are addicted to, like bulimics, are addicted to the process of eating and purging. Obesity, people who can't stop eating and become obese are addicted to a substance, food. Gambling is a process. Work addiction is a process. Drug addiction is a product or a thing. Okay. Underneath those, though, is the same thing. It's the need, I propose, a little stretch, I know, but ride with me on this. Beneath that is the need to be abused or to abuse. It's an itch that can't be scratched, as I mentioned. It's growing up subconsciously, unconsciously, with this message in the back of your brain that you can't see or hear with discrimination, but it's there like a song. You've had songs going through your head for hours and didn't realize it, and then suddenly you do. It's like that. And it says, I need to be steeped in abuse. And it can come out in either form. You can abuse others, or you can set yourself up to be abused in some way. But there's a need for that. If you start with that as a premise and look at people who are addicted to whatever it is, and some are addicted wildly and some mildly, you will see with different eyes that here's a person who's driven by an unconscious script that I need to be involved in abuse in some way or another. Why? Because the mind has two basic commandments. One is to survive, and the other is to be right. And most people spend their lives doing those two things, being right about the convictions they have, including the conviction about themselves that I'm the kind of person that is always involved in some form of abuse, giving it, taking it, or both. Process addiction to abuse. Hope that explains it.